Chapter 14. The final showdown begins. Petrus, use my sword as one of the forms for the sword Bartemius gave you, Dave said as he summoned the blue sphere of light from within his soul and placed it on the sword of adaptability. Simon, take mine as well, said Harold, as he did the same with his orange sphere as Dave.
Please, use mine to help you in this battle.
Today, insisted as she too placed her green sphere onto the sword of adaptability. I'm sure you'll find a use for my sword of utility, said Dan as he put his purple sphere onto the sword of adaptability.
Simon, let my sword of temperance protect you in battle.
Said Jenna as she put her black sphere onto the sword of adaptability. Don't forget my sword of restored hope, Anthony told Simon as he placed his yellow sphere onto the sword given by Bartemius. Thank you, everyone, Simon told them. With these, it'll be like you're all fighting alongside me. Simon then turned toward the edge of the platform where Bartemius had just been defeated by Saul. He focused solely on rising into the sky to face Saul, channeling all his determination to do so as he ran towards the edge. He waited for his feet to leave the edge, but never felt his feet do so. By the time he realized, he had already been stably airborne. He turned to where Saul was waiting for him in the St. Petersburg sky and rose to meet him.
I applaud your ability to meet me for this battle. But do you truly desire to challenge me, who has become an eternal being?
Saul asked him. There is only one eternal being, the great creator of the multiverse. I will prove that to you by defeating you in this battle. I will remind you that he alone that is in the control of the multiverse. That no one among us has the power to, nor the authority to decide which universes are allowed to exist. Simon replied.
I will prove to you that which I am attempting to achieve here is the will of him, by proving to you that you cannot stop these events from coming to pass.
Saul replied.
The time for talking is over. Let this battle begin.
However, just as they were about to start, a camera appeared hovering before them, and monitor holograms appeared across the city, showing what the camera in front of Simon and Saul were showing, which was pointed in their direction. People down in the street stopped to marvel at these projections. Then a man's voice could be heard across the city. Hello, everyone! I am James Quiblius, and I will keep you all informed on the things that happen in this battle that decides the fate of our universe. The voice said. James Quiblius? Simon repeated, as in one of the three Quiblius brothers of legend?
Precisely.
Saul responded.
Well, we should not keep our audience waiting.
Right. A health bar divided into 10 sections appeared over Simon and Saul.
Similar to the battle you witnessed, I'll manifest my scythe of adaptability in the form of the scythe of reset. Attack power 0, durability 0.
Said Saul as the transparent red scythe formed in his hand. The enemy just summoned a weapon with 0 attack power and 0 durability. Just what kind of power does this weapon possess? And how will our friend Simon Petrus respond to this? Came James Quiblius' voice across the sky, who shall henceforth be known as JQ. The Scythe of Reset returns an opponent's armament back to its original location when it battles with it, and that scythe cannot be destroyed since it has no durability to begin with. Still, I must arm myself, Simon said as he moved the bead bag to his right jacket pocket for easier drawing, drew a bead from it, and then to Saul. First, I'll use the bead of duplicity, which summons an exact copy of an armament I'm using, with all the abilities and properties the original has, which I'll use on the sword of adaptability. On the sword of my right hand, another clear-colored, one-handed sword exactly like the sword of adaptability appeared in Simon's left hand. Simon is now wielding two swords that can take on the abilities and properties of other swords. Just how will we use them against the enemy? Came JQ's voice again. Suddenly, Dave felt a warm sensation in his chest. I think Simon intends to summon my sword onto one of his swords of adaptability, he told the others. Let a miracle of strength be made manifest in these hands, and let that miracle make me strong enough to overcome my obstacles. Manifest! Sword of Strength! Power 3, Durability 3. Chanted Simon and Dave in unison, causing the sword in Simon's right hand to transform into the blue sword of strength, though it manifested as a one-handed sword for the sword of adaptability. Now on my left hand, now he's summoning mine, said Harold. Let a miracle of wisdom be made manifest within me, and let that miraculous wisdom guide me on a path towards victory. Manifest! Sword of Wisdom! Power 3, Durability 2, chanted Simon and Harold in unison as the sword in Simon's left hand transformed into the orange sword of wisdom. And then Simon drew a bead from his pocket, which was the bead of negation, which he held onto for later.
Or you will face me with two swords that cannot attack my scythe. If you do, you will lose more than half your health.
Saul warned. I know. That's why I won't. I'll simply wait for the timer on that scythe's projection to expire. Simon replied.
That might be a wise move, if I did not have many other forms at my disposal.
Said Saul as his scythe transformed back into its default form.
Such as the Scythe of Incineration. Attack power 0, durability 0. The scythe I used to defeat Partenius.
Saul's scythe transformed into the fire orange scythe of incineration. The enemy summoned another weapon with the same stats as the first one. What kind of power does this one possess? Again came JQ's voice. Saul flew towards Simon, preparing to strike. I used the bead I just drew, the bead of negation, to block your attack, creating a barrier to shield me from it. Also, this bead is reusable, but it must recharge between uses. Simon responded. Simon then drew another bead. It was the bead of dual drawing. I'll use the bead of dual drawing to draw two beads instead of one, Simon commanded.
Before you do so, my Scythe of Incineration will take one health section from you, since you used a non-defensive, non-armament ability. Simon HP 10 to 9. Saul replied. But this ability can only be used once each time the scythe is projected.
The attack from Saul's scythe made Simon begin to fall towards the ground after knocking him backwards. After regaining control, he drew two beads from his pocket. One was the bead of illusory armament, and the other was the bead of channeling power. I'll use the bead of illusory armament, which will summon an autonomous mirage of the sword of adaptability, with the properties and abilities of another program sword form I choose, Simon said as he raised such bead. This time Today felt a warm sensation in her chest.
Simon,
She said as she closed her eyes and brought her right hand to her chest.
let a miracle of courage manifest here and now. And let that miracle give me the strength to follow the path I believe to be right. Manifest! Sword of Courage! Attack power 2, durability 2.
Simon and Jade chanted in unison, causing the sword mirage to transform back into the green sword of courage. Simon's now using three of our swords against Saul. He'll surely find a way to defeat Saul with them, Dave said to encourage the others. I'll now use the Sword of Courage's ability to rid the field of all armaments, said Simon.
I see. This would be a suitable time to tell you that my scythes are unaffected by your abilities, due to their 0 durability.
Saul replied. I figured you'd say that. So I had this other bead, the bead of channeling power, Simon responded, as he raised the bead in the air. This bead negates a destructive ability's activation and then deals you damage directly equal to half the combined attack power of all armaments I'm currently wielding. Currently, I have the Sword of Courage, the Sword of Wisdom, and the Sword of Strength, which all have a combined attack power of 8, so you'll take 4 damage. Take this, Saul! The green area of effect attack that was forming from the Sword of Courage contracted and transformed into a narrow beam that flew towards Saul, knocking him backwards as it struck him. Saul, HP 10 to 6. Saul finally took some damage! Our hero, Simon Petrus! Came the cheering voice of JQ again.
Hero, eh? You know, where I am from, you're also quite famous.
Said Saul with a chuckle. Saul then rose again to meet Simon at the height in the air where he was. Small pieces of debris were falling from inside Saul's hood. What's happening to your face, Saul? Simon asked, with both incredulity and fear of what was about to be revealed.
Did you honestly believe that was my true face?
Saul replied.
I have worn this mask ever since I failed to prevent the great calamity from occurring, to hide my shame. But now you have destroyed it, so...
Saul then pulled back his hood to reveal his true identity, which no one could ever have predicted, or for which could have been prepared. It was the withered face of Simon Petrus, except he had long hair and patchy dark facial hair. There was an expression of being worn out on his face. Simon could not believe what he was seeing. Saul, just who are you? Simon asked him, completely taken aback at what he was seeing.